It off here with our friend Mike Jopek.
Boy, that Tallarico guy and that oyster man from Maine's really got Schumer pulling his hair out. Holy cow.
Steve Quinnell.
I don't know what to say tonight. It's just all coming too fast.
Ryan Hennon.
Hopefully you got in on that sports bet tip of the week last week. It hit, by the way. It was under 51.5. Ohio State, Illinois. Called it. Free money.
Yeah.
Wow.
And your host, Ed Doctor.
Hey, I don't know what to say about that. I should have followed
Can you
your
hear me
advice.
now?
I got 3 picks right in the football pick. I'm 3. I'm fucking horrible at that. I'm so fucking sick of it.
You could have a cat
Amy's
walk
wasted
across
me the last
page
2
and get
fucking
more than
weeks.
3.
You know, anyway, this week we got Russell Cleveland zooming in with us, running for Congress, U.S. Congressional District 1 for Montana. We don't know yet if he's got a primary. We think he does, but, we'll see.
Currently, no.
Currently, no.
Nothing
We've got to
official.
wait till March. Yeah, he'll probably wait till last minute.
It's early.
Anyway, Russ, we each have a question we're gonna ask you, and then obviously we'll probably talk about the Sheehy response to Caitlin Collins.
Fancy pants.
Fancy pants. I like that. Nyland said that because I say that a bunch.
Yes. Not shady
Anyway,
anymore.
so Russ, you've been pretty critical of the National Democratic Party. Is it about their tactics or their policy? And if you are elected and you disagree what they're doing nationally and what they're pushing, what are you going to do to push back and vote? And would you vote against what the National Democrats want?
You backed a lot into that question there.
I did. I know. I could break it up.
Yeah, I think that the moral of the story is what we're seeing is, well, first of all, Democratic Party doesn't have a very good track record of picking the right candidates.
No.
And it seems like they're continuing to do that in this race and in Maine and in Texas and in a number of others. So I've been critical of them because it feels like even though we got our butts kicked this last election, they still haven't really learned in terms of listening to the people instead of to consultants in DC. To the extent that, even yesterday, talking to the BCCC, it's like they have criteria where you have to show that you're bringing on paid consultants to your team before they'll actually take you seriously as a candidate.
Oh, boy.
And
They
so
love that word consultant.
they sure do. And, it's all about
The whole
keeping them guys
industry now.
Yeah, it's an industry, and they're feeding the industry, and it seems like they're less worried about winning and more worried about keeping that industry alive and keeping paying people. So to answer your question, that's where it starts and ends for me is like, guys, come on. You got to start listening to what the people, your constituents are saying. And there's a reason why there's so much distrust in this state with politics in general, but with the Democratic Party is as soon as we turned the page and started listening to what the national party is doing.
Yeah.
That's be where we're running into issues. So
Yeah, that seems to be mistake number 1. What do you got for him, Ryan?
Hey, Russ, I've got a kind of a non-political question here.
Boring.
It kind of ties into something I've been thinking about and something we were just talking about before you came on. I read an article the other day. It says here that craft breweries are struggling and as sales and appetites wane, millennials are aging out of the craft beer scene altogether, and Zoomers, the ones below them, seem to be completely uninterested in it at all, in drinking. So couple questions for you. One, why do you think that is? Why do you think the younger generation seems to be completely out on beer in general, craft beer specifically, and what effect do you see this having, if any, in the Montana craft beer scene? Because I remember when there was a boom here. Ed owns a bar.
It was big.
yeah, no, that's a great question. I think with the legalization of cannabis, I think is kind of probably had something to do with that people can wake up without a hangover. Which
Ed owns a dispensary too.
I got that part's
you
covered.
could probably give
call
us
a
the
hedge
stats
fund.
on what the sales are there versus the beer
Yeah.
or what that difference looks like. But I also just think there's kind of a changing of the guard in terms of what people are focused on and what they do for a good time, and there's a little bit more of a focus in that generation on health and wellness, it seems. And I don't know about you guys, but man, the craft beer goes straight to the old gut. So
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And the hangovers are not fun.
No. No. At
Yeah.
the convention, I drank as
I
much.
love a
vodka
good
as
craft
I
beer
could.
though. I mean, they're hard to get away from, but
So hard.
yeah, I
No, I
don't
think
have any
that's-
specific.
I think that's a good point. I think, we see a lot of, there's kind of been like a health and wellness podcast renaissance, really, with
Yeah.
guys like, Rogan, obviously, and Huberman and things like that. And I think the more the younger people are learning about alcohol, they're kind of just choosing to stay away from it altogether. But
We need some of that 3-2 beer from Utah again.
Right,
You know, some of that lawnmower beer.
Make macro beers,
Yeah.
macro
It's
brews
so
great
bad
again.
that, I have 58 taps, and we have Michelob Ultra on.
yeah.
That's bad. I never thought that would happen.
But that was my question for you, Russ. But yeah, I think I agree with you on that.
Well, thank God for the boomers keeping you alive over there, Ed.
Thank God. Thank God my average
Bud Light.
customer is about
Oh,
48
wait,
years
Bud Light's,
old.
Bud Light got canceled.
No,
I
we
forgot.
sell that just to piss off the rednecks. They fucking
Do you,
hate
do you
that.
see? Do you know if there's an uptick in like liquor or wine, or is it across the board?
Oh, it's
declining?
across the board.
Just
Actually,
not drinking, yeah.
there's a bill in Congress right now called the Cheers Act, and it's sponsored by, I believe, a senator from Nevada and one from North Carolina, both Republicans, I believe. But it's to give people like me with tap lines tax breaks, incentives. Just because the beer industry it's horrible. I mean, it's bad. And I hate to say it, but I mean, people are smart. It is fucking bad for you. I love it. Tastes great. I mean, a lot of shit I've done is bad for me. I mean, it happens. But yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, Vegas is hurting with their drinks. And like. What's crazy, I think, is happening, too, is like places like Vegas and tourist places are raising their prices of the alcohol so much because they need to make up for the lack of sales. It's, in fact, turning more customers away. I know it is for a fact. Like we've had people say that they keep coming to the tap house because our beers are still $6 and $7.
Yeah.
Which blows my freaking mind that that's a good deal for a beer. That's
Oh, yeah.
nuts.
I remember the days of the $1 PBRs.
Oh, my God. That wasn't that long ago.
No.
No. Steve, you got a
Well, that's
question?
probably something to do with it.
$3
I mean,
pint
you
wasn't
have-
too long
who wants
ago
to pay $8 for a beer?
I know. I don't. I mean, I can't stand paying 20-some bucks for a 6-pack.
Shoot, $8 a beer, that's Sheehy money.
The other
That
thing
is
is that
Sheehy
the other
money
thing is
right
that
there.
parents aren't giving their sons and daughters the last swill of the Milwaukee's best anymore. So I mean, that's how I grew up.
That's how I grew up. It was Blatz for
So
me.
it was as soon as I could raise a whole can, I was drinking it. My question is about
That's
I'm sure
obvious.
you saw that
Explains a lot.
in eastern Montana. They tried to sell a bunch of coal, and the only bidder was Navajo, the Navajo Coal Trust or whatever their corporation was, and they bid 0.1 penny per ton, and that got canceled. So they didn't. The Department of Interior did not accept that bid for. It was something like 160 million
What did they
tons
want, like
of
a
coal.
penny? 0.1 was too low. They wanted a penny.
Yeah, they wanted like a whole penny or something. So, but then the Trump administration recently opened up another 50,000 acres to coal. So I just want to get your thoughts about what that means for eastern Montana if we're going to open up the land, but we can't sell the coal. Just your thoughts on that.
I mean, look, I think most of us can agree that when China's getting out of the coal business and we're getting back into it, we're doing something backwards. You look at 5-10 years ago, China was the biggest consumer of coal, and now they're the biggest consumer of renewable energies. And so I think, we clearly have an administration who has some interest in coal development and coal sale, but I don't think there's the market for it.
Bingo.
Yeah.
What do you say to people in eastern Montana when you go out there? Well, I mean, you don't technically have to go out there, but what do you say to those people? Because they're Montanans. You're going to be representing them by proxy anyway. What do you say to them about the president is trying to bring back the industry they made money on, and now that industry seems to be dead?
I think you guys know, former businessman. To me, it's simply supply and demand. If you want a better price on a product, you don't flood the market with it. You control the market. And, to me, that makes no sense to open up all these other locations. If you're not getting a good price on it, you're increasing supply, which means your demand is going to go down, which drops your price for it. And so it's an important part of our economy here still in Montana. I'm not saying it needs to go away completely. I think we need to diversify our energy sources, but at the end of the day, there needs to be some question marks around, developing public land and getting more leases and commercialization out there, especially at the expense of our environment. And really take a hard look at, is this the right path forward for both an economy and an environmental perspective? You put too much out there, you're not going to get anything for it, and so it's only going to hurt the industry.
Thanks, Russ.
Yeah, that was like Ed's girlfriend in high school. You put too much out there. It's just...
Town pump. Pump it up. Mike, you got to have something good for Russ.
Russ, good to see you. I was getting my oil changed the other day, and I noticed that the price from 6 months ago to now had gone up quite a bit, and I was like, God, Dad, that's that zinky tariff tax that he's pushing on everything and letting the administration get away with. And my friend was talking about how the cost of coffee went up from $9 or $10 a bag for Folgers to 17. I was like, gosh, that's a 70% increase. That's just so hurtful. And so, I was thinking about you, and, I know you got 6 kids in your family. You guys are a family of 8. And so I'm thinking that you guys must go to the grocery store and your bills must just be like off the charts. I mean, when you go to the grocery store, Costco or wherever, Walmart, where you have to shop these days, what are you seeing? What's your grocery bills doing to keep that family going?
Oh, it's I'm going to have to start selling organs, I think, soon. It's crazy.
Pianos
that people,
are better.
largely, you talk about what drove people to vote so far right this last election, and a lot of the analysis is those grocery prices, fuel prices, table issues we talk about, right? And we've seen them not only go the wrong way, but now the value of the dollar has dropped as well on top of it. So, and you add tariffs to that as well, and we're not talking a few percentage points. We're talking 10, 20, 30, 40% increase on people's everyday items. And for a family like mine, that equals thousands of dollars a month that you're seeing in a different difference in terms of what your expenditures are versus just a year ago. And so while inflation was a concern for everybody last year, it sucked. It's also important to point out we had the best inflation in the world in terms of control of it economically, and we were still kind of coming out of a post-COVID era recovery from that. It certainly needed to be wrangled, but we're going in the wrong direction. And so, yet again, middle and lower class are the ones that are under attack. We're not seeing the wage increases. It's not like we're seeing this, equivalent climb of both wages, cost of living. It's simply one-sided. And so, I did a post here a month or two ago. It's like, take a snapshot of the fuel pump now and look at it a year ago and look at it a year from now and see what really happens. It's a commonly used fuel is a commonly used talking point. Zinke's notorious for using that.
Oh, yeah.
He's used it election after election, and it's never budged.
Don't you miss $2 gas?
Yeah, there's no $2 gas. Give me a break.
Right.
And you start looking at some of the other things. I'm thankful we are on a cattle ranch here that I have endless amounts of beef to pull out of the freezer.
Oh, that sounds good.
If I was paying $6 or $7 or $8 a pound, like most Americans are right now, I might be forced to be a little bit more vegetarian than I'd prefer to be. So I'm happy.
There's a lot of soybeans I heard on the American market that don't have a home. So
start eating soybeans, I guess. More soy
maybe
in the diet.
tofu, the new white meat.
Delicious. Delicious.
I asked
and that goes back to that first question, Ed, what you were saying, like what's wrong with the Democratic Party?
That's where I was going.
That's it. I mean, it's right in front of their face.
Well, somebody will say, well, what can a congressman do about it? Stand the fuck up. I mean, right? Yeah. And you see it. I'll tell you one, and this is what I want to bring up with you because I just looked into this. I stumbled upon it. Ilhan Omar, 96% of her funds come from single donors, and she accepts no PAC money. no dark money, and owns no stocks, doesn't trade in the stock market at all. I mean, and MAGA hates her.
Well, she's a bad capitalist, obviously.
She's brown too, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, very bad capitalist. Yeah, bad. Shame on her. But you've said you're not taking the dark money. I've heard Talrico say it, and I'm pretty sure the guy in Maine,
the oyster
Graham.
man, yeah.
I mean, I know he's not taking it. And so you've got these people, Democrats, and MAGA hates them. But in my opinion, MAGA should respect who these people are, and at least give them kudos for not taking this shitty money that all these like Danes and Zinke and Sheehy, they all do, and most people do. I mean,
the corporate PAC money is out of control.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
And when you have
Citizens
a
United
politician
decision
saying
was the
like
worst
you
thing that ever happened
or
to politics.
Talrico, or anybody else saying they're not going to take it, God, I just, to me, that just it sounds like I'm going to support this guy. It sounds like the right thing to do.
Well, here's the hard thing: is I basically got told
Is getting money.
Until you raise at least $500K, the party doesn't even take you seriously.
God, that's crazy.
A lot of money.
And look at where it's come in 20 years. I mean, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, $50,000 for a campaign like this was
Right.
not out of the question to raise and operate from. Now you're looking at $5 million, and so the party's like, look, you could be the ideal candidate, and a Montanan like me, a Navy veteran, a rancher, a coach, a dad, a former small business owner. That's Montanans. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
those check the boxes of the average Montanan. And
And
to
the average
me, I don't.
Montana doesn't take PAC money. I know I don't.
I don't.
No, you guys don't.
No,
We don't get PAC.
no,
You
you don't
guys
have.
haven't,
You
no,
don't
you
you
have.
guys
better
haven't
not
run
take
for
it.
office, man. You're swimming in it when you run for
Right.
local municipal elections.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
500K.
The number of PACs,
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, there's people. Paul Gilman knows it.
Yeah. You guys didn't know that somebody filed an ethics complaint against me in the last election?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I think
David Sirota, you remember David Sirota? He used
Yes.
to be Bernie Sanders' speechwriter there.
Yeah.
Worked on the Schweitzer campaign back in the day. He wrote a column in the Rolling Stones, I think it was today, where he talked about the Montana plan, which is a citizens' initiative to take the ability for corporations to fund elections away.
Right.
As part of how you set up a corporation in the state. you
Yeah.
know?
Great idea.
And that's gonna be that's gonna be a voter initiative,
No,
isn't it?
that's
Yeah,
a free.
coming out of Great Falls.
That's a
Yeah.
First Amendment issue right there. I
gonna
mean,
say.
doesn't
Sam
this
Alito would like a
administration-
word.
Yeah.
Doesn't this administration really stand up for the First Amendment when it comes to
Yeah.
our citizens and our people that want to protest?
Well, I mean, I'm sure
Isn't
you're
that what
talking.
happens?
You've talked to people, Russ, though, and what's their opinions?
say anything?
The man on the street. What's he have to say about you not taking that kind of money? Are people more critical of that? Like I've heard your supposed opponent is pretty critical of that, and obviously a lot of politicians are. What about the man on the street? Do you get confronted with that? Do people ask you, like, what's your plan, and can you do it without it?
They want it out of here. That's the key.
That's what I
is-
would think.
Yeah.
It's a bipartisan plan. The Montana plan is supported by both parties because anyone who knows that amount of money it's not coming from Montanans. You're
Right.
talking about huge amounts of corporate and billionaire influence flowing into a state. And that's largely what's responsible for turning Montana into a billionaire's playground and pushing the rest of us out. And so, that's what funded someone like a Tim Sheehy to even have a chance.
Fancy pants.
Fancy pants,
And,
right there.
And to me, the average
dazzle
person knows
jeans.
that $100 is a lot of money to the average Montanan to throw into a campaign. And these guys are throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars in to try and sway legislation, which ultimately means that it is truly the billionaires that are controlling our legislators and the people making laws because they have more money to do so. Their vote should count as one vote, just like yours or mine.
Yeah,
It's so
the
fucking
oligarchs.
obvious.
It
I
should
mean,
all be
we're-
capped at the same amount. And that's $3,500 max per election for a federal election. That's how much I should be able to put into it as a candidate. That's how much you should be able to put into it as a constituent. And if you're a corporation or a special interest group, you shouldn't get to weigh in and throw your money in here. It should be the individual behind the veil that is capped at $3,500. That's what makes a free and fair election. Anything other than that is absolutely ludicrous. Our founding fathers are rolling in their graves thinking about, these guys with billions of dollars to throw around, meddling in our election process. It's ridiculous.
Well, they did warn about what would happen if you ended up with a polarized party system like we have today. I mean, it was pretty polarized in the beginning with the Federalists and Anti-Federalists, but today is beyond is what they feared would happen.
Capitalism on steroids.
Yeah.
It is big time. It is. I mean, but that's what I
we
thought.
stared it in the face. It's there's all the analysis coming out are saying like we've never been so close to civil unrest and potential civil war since the actual Civil War itself. And we got to dial it in. We got to bring people from the extremities back to the middle and say, hey, let's start showing each other a little bit of respect and actually, setting some guardrails in place that protect our Constitution.
Well, I think the current president, the administration, they're trying to push all the buttons. Like, this Portland thing, they want people to retaliate. They want to look bad. They want it. And what Portland does, shows up in blow-up costumes. I fucking loved it.
Pepe the Frog looks good out there.
I mean, it's like
naked bike ride right in front of the ice.
I mean, and I've got a friend that he thinks that Antifa's taken over all these buildings. I said, stop. I go, dude, there's lots of live cameras of Portland. There's live streamers around there showing you that it's Portland. It's normal. It's everyday normal, But, and on the local Portland news, they can't just flat out lie, even though they're owned by Sinclair. But they're not sitting there saying this city's burning and we've got Antifa taking over all these buildings. But Newsmax and Fox News, they sure do. They talk about how it's off the fucking hook, And I guess if you got a world now where, half this country believes in just anything, not anything.
No, they believe what they see. We talked about this. They don't see anything outside of what comes through their phones, and that's a problem.
Yeah, it's the internet. Half the America sees one feed, the other half of America sees the other
and
feed,
why wouldn't
and
you
those
be
worlds
curious,
aren't talking
though?
to each other.
They don't see
because the tech billionaires own the feeds.
Yeah. Like, I'm curious. I look at both sides. I try to find out flaws and lies all the time on both sides. I would assume more people are that way, but they're not. They're just not. I mean,
you have to remember that the average education in this country is below 8th grade.
Low. Yeah.
In this state, I believe it's 6th grade, and so that's one's making a second account.
That's kind of where we're at, right?
That's our listener demographic.
That's our roundhouse. Right?
Yeah. The average person isn't making a second account.
Jokes and
get a second feed going, to see what else is out there to click on conservative views versus liberal views. That just doesn't happen, and so. People get one source coming off their TikTok or Instagram reels, and they believe it to be God's gospel, the truth, and they're being propagandized all along the entire path. Yeah. So,
they don't see the police chief of Portland saying, "Listen, the only thing there's one block out of our 24 square mile city that there's any sort of protest happening,
right?
And to the protesters." Benefit, what they did is they took off the black costumes, the black helmets, and all that stuff, and they put on blow-up costumes.
Yep.
And they're out there having fun. I mean, that's what they're doing. They are having fun.
They are, and Robbie Roadmaster's not having fun. He got arrested. But people, they're starting to arrest people. They don't care.
The First Amendment doesn't matter anymore. I mean, what parts of the Constitution actually matter anymore to this administration?
Russ,
there really are not any of them that I can tell.
Did you hate all the fatties and beardos when you were in the Navy?
No. Did I hate them all?
Disgusting?
No, Pete Hegsis, Kegsis, or whatever they call him now, is on a crusade. He for some reason, I think he must have got picked on or something when he was in the service. And
something, dude.
He's still pissed because they exposed his room that he made just for his makeup that nobody ever needed as the Secretary of Defense before.
His flight to Europe turned around today over the ocean.
Cracked windshield.
Oh, I heard the bar cart fell over.
Oh,
that makes more sense. Yeah, cracked windshield.
See,
gotcha.
to me, the bar cart makes sense. It's all soaked up in the carpet. Get some sponges.
Make a stop in Northern Ireland.
Get some sponges on that. Yeah, Northern Ireland.
It's like we're an hour and a half from Reykjavik, Mr. Secretary. They have some fermented shark fin wine for you.
Ooh, nice.
Turn it around.
Well, Russ, you can hang on with us, or we can let you go. Whatever you want to do. We asked the questions. We needed to. If there's anything you want to say or say to anybody else,
It's only going to get worse from here. So.
it will. It will.
You're the high mark of the show.
We'd
as
like
always.
to see you. If you got the time every week, we'll come in and we'd like to just get. Actually, the point of this is to get caught up on your campaign. See what's happening to you every week.
Yeah, where are you going this week? Where are you going next week?
Yeah, where are you going to be?
Let's see. I got. I'm kind of all over the place, honestly. We got Fall Fest coming up in Kalispell. We've got Ravalli County. We've got a big town hall down there, so that'll always be interesting down in Hamilton. Bozeman, Butte. I'm kind of all over the map these next 2 weeks. But
When's the Fall Fest in Kalispell?
not this weekend, but the following weekend.
All right, that's when we're going to the Kalispell VFW.
Yeah,
It's a nice one.
Me, you, and Kevin.
It is. We call it the.
We got to get the run the line with Russ coming up here. We need to get that.
We're going to do that. We're going to start that in the spring, maybe late winter.
That's a spring thing.
Well, we'll revitalize the beer industry by ourselves.
Yeah, we will.
There we go.
We're going to do our fucking part.
And Russ,
We're doing shots.
Russ, before we let you go, it's just a small thing. Steve is from South Carolina. He prefers he prefers the War of Northern Aggression, not the Civil War. So, for future reference,
Yes, he's sensitive to that.
Sorry to disappoint. Yeah.
First,
But you must be a liberal snowflake, like they call us.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I melt at 32.1 degrees.
All right, guys. Great seeing you. Thanks for having
Thanks,
me.
Russ.
Appreciate it,
Thanks,
Russell.
Russ.
Thanks, Russ.
All right.
Well, he seems like a real guy.
yeah.
He really does, and that's that's why I brought up that Omar thing too, because she doesn't really seem like a real guy, but a real politician, somebody that actually sticks to their principles. And I know in his race, the guy that he might be running against is like, listen, you can't take dark money, or you have to take dark money. I can't sign any pledge.
Yeah.
Because once you do, Zinke's gonna rip you apart. And Ross is like, dude, no, I'm not. We're just not. If we don't win, we don't win. That's not what it's about. And I'm like, whoa, that's pretty stand up. And and there are politicians out there like that.
Schweitzer never took dark money.
One of them.
Right, probably didn't need to.
No, he didn't. He just raised it from people.
Yep, and people will do that if your message is good. Like I think he was very nice to the Democratic Party and stuff.
Oh, he's a nice guy.
He's a very nice guy, exactly. And maybe that's something people don't like.
Nicer than us.
Yeah.
Well,
you.
Well, there is an old saying about nice guys and where they finish.
That's true. And a caller today on I think
That's why I'm still single.
Dan Abrams' show. Oh my God, listen to Stephen Smith's new show, Straight Shooter. He's got a once-a-week show. Stephen A's got a political show.
Boy, I hate that guy.
And I love him. I
cannot stand. All he does is shout all the time.
I love him. I used to hate him, and I love him.
I don't dislike his views. I wish he could just
He's
talk.
not my favorite, but yeah, I
This
don't
caller,
hate him.
God, I forgot what we were talking about. What was that?
You said you were watching his show today.
No, it was that. Well, that just.
Well, we were talking about Elon Omar. And we were talking about how Russ seemed like a nice guy, like a
and I was
regular
listening
politician.
to the Dan Abrams show.
Yep.
And somebody called in about
Then
what?
you said Stephen A. Smith.
Damn it! I lose track that fast.
Oh, well.
But someone like Elon Omar, it appears that she represents the wishes of her constituents, which seems like a wild thing to say these days.
Crazy.
Where it's like,
You talking crazy, girl?
right, it's like she knows the people that live in her district. She knows what they care about, and that becomes the issues that she advocates for in Congress.
Well, you were talking about the nasty 9 Republicans in the state house. It's like, I got a couple hospitals in my district. You want me to
Yes.
vote against the hospitals?
Yes.
Right.
Well, like Ed was saying, he was like, he talked to someone and they said, well, what the hell's a congressman going to do? It's like, well, last time I checked, they write the fucking law.
They do write the fucking law, and
I
they
would
can
imagine they
stand
could do
up.
something.
I mean, it's funny.
I mean, they've
Right now, they can't do much.
abdicated all of their constitutional power
Right.
currently, but
Yeah.
that's because of MAGA Mike. I mean, the guy, he can't get
insane.
enough of his nose is so far up Trump's ass that you can see the tip of it when Trump opens his mouth. I mean, it's so bad.
But at least they still get paid.
Yeah, they're still getting
they
paid.
still get their paycheck. They still get their retirement. They still get their health insurance. No problem there.
Yeah.
Everyone else who got furloughed, they're like, well, I might not get my paycheck, but Congress still gets their paycheck.
Look, I'll tell you this. They're still taking taxes out of your check. The government ain't shut down. That's how I look at it.
Today was payday.
Look, you look at your pay stub today on the 15th, and they took some withholding out.
12%
The government
goes
ain't
straight
shut
to
down.
straight to the federal government.
Right.
Well, but they did find some funds to pay the military somewhere in that defense budget.
That's good.
They found some funds to pay the military, which is good.
Yeah.
How long is it going to last? That is the question. And man, everything you read and everything you hear is that this is going to be a long shutdown.
Well, aren't they making that $1 million coin now? I mean, they're just going to start
Right.
pumping those out.
Right. Who's going to be on that one?
I don't know.
It's got to be Trump.
It's got to be
right?
Kirk.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes
Oh,
sense.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it must be a big coin then. That's a
Yeah.
big head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I feel bad that I don't care about the government shutdown. I don't really care. I just feel like I've been through these before.
Yeah.
I'm pretty clear. You know, there's one party that controls every branch of government, so it's like, all right,
Yeah.
stands to reason it's their fault.
The last longest government shutdown in American history happened on Trump 1. So
yeah.
you know, he's
30
got to
days.
beat that record.
He will.
You know,
You think
so
the
we got to
Democrats
get.
kind of are like, let it shut down. Stop this fucking insanity for a little while. I don't think it's a horrible strategy from their part.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I mean, you know,
Just gives them more time to fix the Epstein files,
You know,
though.
but it also gives Trump and Magic Mike to keep talking about how the Democrats are doing the Schumer shutdown. I mean, even Zinke said it. Sheehy said it. They all keep talking about.
I wonder if people
I mean,
believe that,
Schumer
though.
doesn't have. I
don't
think
know.
the
They
people on the right do. I do.
Well, people on the right will
Yeah,
believe
but
anything.
most
But I
people
think most people, like we talk about how,
They don't
most of the country's
understand
not
that
super
shit.
smart. They will just because the party that's in power blame them essentially. So
Yeah.
that is, that is a plus. I'm assuming for the
Well, they
Democrats.
picked an interesting fight because people's health insurance premiums are going through the roof in the next couple
That's
of
the-
weeks.
that
and
is the
so,
fight.
Yeah.
you know, that fight resonates that you're talking about people's pocketbook issues. You know, and people aren't feeling the shutdown unless you're flying.
Yes.
You know, that's what shut down. The last shutdown was the air traffic controllers saying, I don't know if we can keep doing this.
So I heard that just today. Julie Mason was saying that she flew this weekend. And she said it was
they
just
not
told
getting
ahead
paid?
of delays
Well, I did
and
too.
crazy shit.
Well,
everywhere.
on my way back from North Dakota, we
yeah.
sat in North Dakota for an hour and a half on the tarmac. We were getting ready to go, and then
no.
Denver was like, "Oh, sorry, we don't know what's going on." That's what the pilot said was, "Oh, we don't know." They said they don't know what's going on, so we got to wait here. So it was an hour and a half.
That's always a good thing to
Sitting
hear
there.
from the pilot.
Yeah.
Fuck that, man.
Right.
Yeah, I go, okay, I'm renting a car.
Wings should be fine. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, who said they were paying the military? Was that you or you?
Yeah, me.
So that's paying for these guys that
the
Hegseth
Operation
wants to
Desert
replace.
Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they want to replace the heavyset guys in the National Guard that we talked
Well,
about.
they've got to look good. I mean, it's all about image.
Imagine you're too fat for Chicago.
That should not happen.
But I
Ron
mean,
Swirsky would be very pissed.
no, didn't Texas send a bunch of their homeless
Ditka.
and
Yeah.
everything to Chicago?
To Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
So they sent a bunch
DC.
of 10,000 people to Chicago, and then they're sending the troops to go take care of that people in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
It's
just
very
making
circular.
sure.
The snake
all
is
right,
eating
all
its
right.
tail.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, it could be that they're just trying to intimidate J.B. Pritzker by sending the only Americans fatter than he is.
Yeah, I guess so. Not
I
many.
love J.B. He's my boy.
yeah.
He's
He's
the.
done.
He
He's
looks
done
like
some
the-
pretty funny stuff.
He looks like the dad from that old show,
like-
Dinosaurs. If you ever
They're
remember
gonna
that
make us
show?
eat ketchup.
he's a Democrat.
Feed the baby.
Christie.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ending of that
Chris
is wild.
Christie. He's been
As an
been
adult.
silent lately. You ever hear nothing from
I
Chris
think Chris.
Christie.
Yeah. Well,
That's good.
he
He's,
fell out of favor with.
He's
the
probably worried
Trumpies
he's going to
and-
get indicted. I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
When
he
he
sucks.
says
say?
anything.
Well, I remember he had a big fight with Trump because
I mean, he sucked his dick hard after
Right.
the fucking the debate because he wanted a place in his
Yeah.
cabinet and he didn't get
was
one.
very
And
critical.
then he was very critical because he was mad he didn't get a place in his cabinet. He's like, I sucked your dick so fucking hard,
Yeah.
and I can't even be like Secretary of Labor. You fucking dick, fuck you. You know.
I would
That's-
imagine that's the purpose for a lot of these lawsuits and a lot of these indictments is to keep
Yeah.
people quiet.
Well, also distracting from the big deal.
Sure.
So somebody said that today, and I was going to ask you because you're a lawyer. It was on the Dan Abrams show. Like, okay, this is going to come out.
Uh-huh.
What in the world is the benefit by delaying it this much? Because all the shit, and it's pretty obvious. Some of this shit doesn't need to be done. Probably shouldn't be done. Shouldn't even be talked about. But we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about that.
Yeah, we're not
You
talking
know,
about
and it's
Epstein.
becoming increasingly obvious. Even when I talk to my friends on the very right side of the spectrum, I'm like, okay, you can talk about Democrats all you want, but right now, every motherfucking one of them wants to see this list. Of
course.
Every one. And
Yes.
3 of your people do. You know? We just need one more.
It's
And
coming out.
So what's the benefit?
The benefit to
The,
whom?
the right playing the long game on this. And just, Can they keep throwing shade for another 2 years after the the midterms? Do they don't care if let it December 2026? Let it come out.
Probably.
Mike's going. Yeah.
I would think the
probably.
longer they wait to release it, the more time it's just going to give them to say it's all fake, and it's.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
and we know the only name on there is going to be Bill Clinton.
right.
So
Yeah.
they're buying whiteout by the bucket load over there.
I mean, and there's no way Trump would pardon Maxwell. I mean, I've said no way about a lot of things.
me?
I thought that a couple months
all of
ago,
the
and I'm
J6
But now it's
starting to
like-
come around.
Maybe, yeah.
She had some secret meeting with someone at her prison.
Oh, I heard about that too.
Yeah.
Really?
It's been going on a lot, actually.
It was like an undisclosed government official, I think is what it
Yeah.
said.
Oh,
They
that's
shut the whole
awesome.
prison down because that person was there, and then she gets
So
to go out
JD
to have
Vance.
lunch with these
Nasty
persons.
business.
Dude.
Oh, yeah. You
Wow.
get pardoned.
Yeah.
She's getting a pardon.
I mean,
that'd be fucking insane.
If,
Give her a
if
year or
Stuart,
two.
if
But
There's
Stuart
no way. If
Rhodes
the
got
list
a
comes
pardon,
out, if the list comes out, there's just no way. I mean,
There's only one name on the
that's
list.
true.
the only
It's
name you
gonna
can
be
read
Bill.
on the list.
Yeah, right. Well, no, they did say it was like, a famous musician. I think we know who that one is.
Saxophone player.
Saxophone player. A
Kenny
famous
G's on the
actor.
list?
Kenny G.
I
Yeah.
thought it was
Oh,
Bill
no.
Clinton,
I can see
saxophone
that.
player.
Oh,
I was gonna say famous musician. What did Bjork do now?
York. There's a reporter saying that, something. She met Epstein, and the other reporter's like, "Oh, you're on the list." She's like, "Oh yeah, I suppose I am. I've met him." Crazy shit. Okay,
Fits
we got
right.
so we got to talk
make
about
this
this
about
one
Epstein?
quick. So these texts that came out from this young Republican groups. I'm like, okay, that's pretty bad.
can you look up the pictures of those guys, Kev? 'Cause
Like-
the pictures of those guys was pretty.
Oh, they're not in there. They're not
looked
all
like,
kids.
They looked like they also looked like the.
No, one
they-
of them is a sitting state senator.
right. Yes.
These are not children.
But
Yeah,
J.D. Vance on the
looked like
Charlie Kirk show.
They looked like
The
the
plane,
National
the
Guard that
plane.
got off the plane in Chicago, actually.
But here's
Yes.
I think more about the story is
I love Hitler leaked messages.
Yeah, there you go.
Young Republicans.
I think more about the story of just that happening is J.D. Vance's excuse for it.
Yeah.
On the Charlie Kirk show, it was insane.
Right.
These are just kids. We can't ruin their lives for something they've done.
But they're
and this
not
sounds like
kids.
rich people protecting their kid that got in a car accident and killed people.
Yes.
It's like that's exactly what it sounds like. These privileged people want to say, "Oh no," but here's the key. This is on the Charlie Kirk show.
Look
It's
up
not
the
on Fox
Politico
News.
article.
Yeah.
This is all going to younger men.
Yeah.
Being like, yeah, it's okay. He's saying it's okay.
So, who was the politician that said after Charlie Kirk, like, this is disgusting what these people are saying. If you see someone saying something, call them out. Hell, call their employer. That was J.D. Vance, wasn't it?
J.D. Vance said that.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay,
Interesting. You're
so,
right.
making fun of Charlie Kirk will get you fired, but joking about gas chambers, rape, and watermelon people.
That's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, it's these
Monkeys.
That's funny
Yeah.
stuff.
these
you know.
young
Yeah.
35-year-old children.
State senators.
Yes,
What was,
they're
what was
just-
one of the sayings? Like something about monkeys playing football? It was
I,
just.
no, it was all straight out. Yeah, I mean, it's useless bullshit, and we know that they talk that way anyway. I mean, and I love your average MAGA, the fucking idiot people.
It's
Say,
just locker
you know
room
that
talk.
the
Wait,
Ku
is that
Klux
one of
Klan,
the teenagers?
one
That's
of
the
them.
sitting senator, I
Ku
think.
Klux Klan was all Democrats.
Right.
Yeah, they were. Okay, back then they were. All right, shut the fuck up.
They were.
Because you don't see liberals calling them watermelon people.
Right.
You just
Look at
don't.
This guy. If that doesn't scream superior genes, I don't know what does.
That screams child molester to me.
Well, just like this, just never mind. I'm not.
Well, it's
gonna
like,
say
okay,
it.
you look at these guys,
Peter
and these are like,
Oberacker.
yeah,
Oh,
right,
look at
okay.
that. What is that?
That's the guy.
That's a
That's
they
the
them.
one.
That's a they
Yeah.
them. Him. Sure, Sheehy.
You're
whatever.
telling me all
one of
these.
those.
You're telling me all
Jeez.
these people
Well, look at
are racist and bigoted. In a related story, fork found in kitchen. Like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. Weird.
Right?
Weird
No
to see one of
shit.
those there.
Yeah, the young
Look at that guy.
Republicans are they're the ones who are going to bring the party.
That.
Going to take the reins over from the MAGA.
But isn't it
mean,
weird?
that's-
J.D. Vance just fucking basically laughing it off, and just being like,
Oh,
"It's
he
okay."
said Democrats shouldn't be worried about what kids are saying.
Right. Well,
I mean, it's just
I believe the children are our future, so I beg to differ.
this is kind of an
You should let them
interesting.
see the way.
This is kind of an interesting thing that Republicans have been doing kind of since Trump Trump won, where they take something
Bowing
like this
down.
and they say, these are just young kids. They like to do it with crimes. They like to describe
Yes.
crimes as generally as possible. And then they say something like, when people commit conspiracy, they go, "Oh wow, so it's illegal to talk to your friends now." Wow.
Yep,
And it's
right.
like,
What a
well,
great
you're
world we
kind
live
of,
in.
That's
you're kind
their-
of misrepresenting what happened here.
It's their cancel culture issue that
Yes.
they have. That
And it's like, maybe a felon and an alleged sexual predator is not the best role model for young men in America.
You know, it depends. I guess it depends on the household.
Right. Did you see Lucas Schubert weighed in
Oh
which
no, on
one?
Charlie Kirk or what?
on this story?
Oh,
Oh, he
Yeah.
did.
Was
Was
he
he
in
on the
text?
thread? He's
no.
not cool enough to be with those
Right.
guys.
No,
No,
God,
fucking
no.
way.
Jesus Christ, he is not cool enough.
what did he say?
He said, "Oh, this is the same thing they did with Trump in 2016 about locker room talk, and the Democrats are falling for it again." And it was like, okay, Lucas, serious question.
Really?
Do you say things like, "I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch a monkey play ball"?
That's
Do
it,
you
yeah.
do you say that in the locker room, Lucas? Fair question.
Oh, maybe.
Right, and locker room talk. Usually, the locker room talk I'm accustomed to is, "Oh God, that old guy's drying his asshole with the hand dryer
yeah,
again."
gross.
Oh
Right.
my
That's
God.
You know, I
Gross.
try not to talk to people in the locker room because
I wanna
I
get
just
out
want to
of
get
there.
out of there.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even
I don't
go
like
there.
hanging out with naked dudes.
I've never been in the
It's
way.
just not my thing.
No,
I don't either, but $20 is $20.
Kevin doesn't mind it. He's a coach. Hey, coach, you're not supposed to be in the showers with the boys.
So you guys don't
Hey.
use the steam room, you take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing
They
I
call him
found.
Steam Room McDowell.
Another thing I found interesting about this, you'll agree with this, Ed. This kind of goes into the Charlie Kirk vein. Is all these Republicans are like, "Wow, so just because I disagree with you, you're going to call me a Nazi? I'm always a Nazi because I disagree with you." And then you see stuff like this where they're like, literally, "I
Being
love
Nazis.
Hitler.
Yes,
yeah.
I love Hitler.
I am a Nazi." It's like,
I wish
okay.
we could bring back the Nazis.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
But they got to be in a tough position because they got to love the Jews this time.
Right.
That's
Well,
fucked
they-
up.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
how the fuck do you be a real Nazi
Yeah.
and loving the Jews?
Well, the
You think they
Nazis-
secretly hate the Jews? They probably do, especially that
they
one
can find
that we
they
saw.
can find a different final solution in today's world. Back then, it had to be the Jews because there weren't that many people of color.
Well, they
in
control everything.
Germany at the time, so they picked on the Jews.
Right.
In America, we got lots of people that are different that we could final solution out of it if you want to bring back the Nazi party.
Yeah, all the
here.
gay people for sure.
It's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Brown
a
people.
much easier thing to kind of not really hate the Jews.
Well, it's just
Because
hating everything.
Nazism, the Jews were just the prime target of the Nazis at the time. The idea of a master race is something that's
Is
completely
alive and well.
Well,
Yeah,
it is.
apparently-
Like, they say there's no
yeah.
similarities to what happened then. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm watching on like social media, real feeds, not just corporate media. People on the streets watching motherfuckers getting taken down, beaten, shot with shit, like maced, slammed to the ground, shit getting
Tear
broken,
gas.
thrown into fucking
Yeah.
cars, and it's like, is it that different?
20.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it was like. I didn't live there.
Right.
I don't know if, like, the SS just walked around, Berlin and been like, oh, look at that guy's got a big fucking nose. Let's get him.
Yeah.
Fucking threw him in the goddamn fucking wagon and see you later. Like, everybody's like, what the fuck just happened? You'll hold some left, whatever.
They made him wear stars. Remember?
Yeah, that's true.
So, what would you say, Ed, to another response to this article that I've seen in the past day or two that it's been out? Is this is crazy. Both sides are just so crazy. They're just so extreme. They're just so
Which
extreme.
side is crazy?
Hey,
Does it take 12 armed National Guardsmen to corral one potentially
36-year-old
illegal
woman,
person?
a mother, and her 2 kids.
Well,
I mean, what the fuck?
I guess to that, I would say that the both sides being crazy is the left wing crazies are pretty much relegated to like gender studies classrooms on
Yeah, there's
liberal
nothing-
universities.
I know.
The right wing crazies appear to be in charge of the entire federal government.
Yeah.
So they're a little different. In my
The
opinion.
left-wing crazies are just crazy in their own head.
Exactly.
They're not outwardly
Right.
crazy and violating people's civil rights.
I've
They're
had
not overly violent, but Fox News will have you think differently. I mean,
Yeah.
because a lot-
naked bike rides. My
That is
God,
fucked
wearing
up.
Pepe
You got that? You got that
outfits.
video? We got to watch this.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Listen to
come
Mike
on.
Johnson talk about this.
Here, hang on.
Oh wait, I haven't seen this. Boy, this should be entertaining.
Listen to this, dude.
Oh, look at the indignation on his face.
Is that Missoula?
Oh,
No. No, there's not enough granola.
Threatening thing I've seen yet was the naked bicyclers in Portland who were protesting ICE down there. I mean, it's getting really ugly.
The most threatening thing?
you've seen yet.
That's a scooter. That's not even a bike.
Looks like a lot of e-bikes to me. They're not even pedaling.
It looks like a fucking party to me.
Yeah,
You can tell they're riding bikes. 'Cause
I
they're all-
ended up there once during that. Had no idea what was going on. That, and I also ended up once when they do a marathon on St. Patty's Day, and they're all hammered, drunk, with a marathon downtown in Portland.
Kind of like Butte.
Kind of, yes.
Except they only run like, what,
San
100
Francisco,
yards or
the
something?
Dykes on Bikes parade.
Dykes on bikes. Oh,
That's a
yeah.
hell
And I
of
do
a-
love the right-wing conservative response to all this. It's usually something along the
We're
lines
both
of
crazy.
they engage in these deliciously decadent acts, and it's like they're kind of like titillated by it. It's like, this is weird, man.
You just
Made
gave like
me feel things deep down.
Make me think
You
of
know,
Lindsey
Mike
Graham.
Mike was like, rewind that, rewind
Miss
that.
Lindsey Graham.
Rewind that again.
Computer enhance. But now a lot of these guys are coming out in the same old line of we're being censored, we're being canceled,
Yes,
blah blah
yes.
blah blah blah. And it's very funny to me how this always happens with these little worms on the right. They always go, "It's unbelievable. I'm being censored for my views," and you go, "Oh damn!" Or no, they say, "I'm being censored for my conservative views."
Yes,
and you go,
conservative
"Damn."
views.
For wanting to lower taxes? They go, no, not that one. I go, oh, so you're being censored because you want deregulation? No, not that one. And it's like, well, which views? You know the ones. And it's like,
I don't have to say it out loud.
These views. I'm very familiar with
Get
you
rid of
being
the brown
censored
people.
because of these views.
Oh my God.
They already won all those fucking battles, too. Deregulation,
Right.
lower taxes on the rich.
They-
all
they're
those
in-
battles have been won.
They have the Supreme Court for a fucking generation.
Yeah,
they
they-
have the
that's-
Senate. They have the House. They have the White House. They've got God knows how many governorships.
Just
They've
think
won.
of this is what happened with the moral majority. If they had podcasts back then, the moral majority would have started in the Beer Buds and Big Sky podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, because
probably.
this is exactly what they were saying.
You know who
they've got
who's-
the Supreme Court for a generation.
Hey, moving along. Who's that guy O'Leary on that show? Maybe he's on Shark Tank or
Kevin O'Leary.
Kevin O'Leary. Anyway, he's a
Yeah.
smart guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he says some
Knows
pretty.
how to make money.
Well, I mean,
Is that
but
Mr. Wonderful?
he was on Fox News today and talking about the tariffs and what they're doing
Yeah.
and how bad it really is. And you know, when a guy
He
like
was
that,
in support of it to begin with.
well, you know, I'm sure he could. Well, he's explaining the wood one and the furniture. You know,
Yeah.
he goes, this is the bad one because of home building. It's going to crush home building. You know, we say we need the home building, but here he says it will be impossible for a cabinet factory to get it set up and rolling because nobody will give them the equity or the cash because once Trump's gone, we know these policies are gone. There's no guarantee of anything. So it's incredibly foolish tactic and strategy, you know, and I'm like, I've seen Leary be on Trump's side before, you know, I definitely have. But
kill someone with a boat?
I mean, you know, that's a big deal.
Oh, it's the thing that really gets my goat is like, you know, these new taxes, federal taxes they're putting on with these tariffs.
These are federal taxes.
That's what they are. They're a federal tax, federal sales tax, and for lumber, they're talking about 10% new tax on lumber coming from Canada. You have to remember, Canada is our largest trading partner in the state of Montana.
And they have a
we
shit
trade
ton of
stuff
trees.
back and forth. And we got house prices and median house prices in the Flathead at $900,000. And they
Yeah,
want to
let's jack
tack
up
on
the
another
price of wood.
10% on top of that.
Why not?
What's another 10%?
Sure.
You know what?
Let's go
And,
let's
you
go
know,
990.
Oh, yeah.
People here can fucking afford
Yeah,
it.
you could do
and
your
we
you
got
could do your
Zinke
auction
and those
voice.
guys, you know, they're just sitting around going, I don't know, seems like a pretty good deal to me.
Right, somebody's making
what's
money.
another 10%?
Yay,
you know?
capitalism. Everybody's making more money.
Those guys, my God, they're on vacation. They haven't done a damn thing all
Nothing.
year long. They're still
Nothing.
getting paid.
You don't
and
hear
then
anything.
they stick 10% tax on our houses?
Yep.
What about that
Well,
video we have of Sheehy today?
Not only
Look at
that,
this one.
but
Did you see this?
Fancy pants.
fancy
Hey, here comes
pants.
Fancy
Oh.
Pants himself.
Oh, look
Yeah,
at that. He's got a lapel
He's
thing
trying to
in
explain
there.
himself out of this one.
dollars to the Pacific Northwest Hydrogen Hub. Part of that covers your state of Montana, and your governor actually praised it when it was happening, saying it was going to create good-paying Montana jobs and boost American-made energy. They just yanked $1 billion from that. So is that taking away good-paying jobs in Montana?
Of course it is. As I said, we want the government to be open. You should be saying this to Chuck Schumer, who's closing the government down. I'm agreeing we should have the government open right now. This is an unnecessary shutdown.
But that you're acknowledging that what the Trump administration just pulled in funding is hurting your state.
Having troops not being able to fulfill their functions, having law enforcement officers, having air traffic controllers not be able to direct flights into our airports in Montana hurts our state. Not having federal employees attending, showing up to farm services
not answering the question.
during cattle shipping season, that hurts our state. Not having Department of Transportation employees overseeing our highways, our bridges, our
Can we
our
turn off
airways,
fancy pants?
our road,
It's
our road construction efforts. All those things are hurting every state. So this shutdown is not a good thing, and that's why we don't want it to continue. That's why we voted. That's why we've now voted 8 times to reopen the government, and we've not been supported by our friends across the aisle.
Yeah, we
we
pushed Democrats on their stance. We've had many of your colleagues on the show. But on this hub specifically, I mean, that is the Trump administration didn't have to make that decision. They decided to pull that $1 billion from your state. Do you disagree with that?
Well, I think the reality is we wouldn't be here if the government was still open. And now we're going on a week 3 of a pretty unnecessary shutdown.
Well, actually, Chris Wright, the energy secretary, I asked him about that project specifically, and he said they would have done that even if the government wasn't shut down, that was months in the making even before the government shut down.
Well, it's unfortunate we're still shut down.
So he'll get better, right?
What the fuck? He's not getting better.
I mean, he'll get better at answering.
That was like when
was
Stephen
bad.
Miller said something, and he all of a sudden he just stopped talking.
Yeah,
like,
that was
shouldn't have
bad.
said that.
Like, Mike, could you see John Tester in that situation?
Plenipotentiary
Like,
power.
seriously,
Yeah.
you know, a guy like Tester is not going to sit there with a deer in the headlights. I mean, this is just like, what the fuck?
I know he's only been a senator for like 10 months, but that was bad.
That was bad. Well, he doesn't really. Nobody ever cares to talk to him, so he's not like prepped or primed for
Well,
this
he's
kind of
just
shit.
another yes man.
He's a
Yes,
yes,
he is.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You
That's
know,
He
what
was
I'm getting
brought
at.
in to
no
run
one
against
in Congress
Tester.
is denying anything that's happening. They're all along for the ride.
They're all along for and they must be. I don't get it, man. I don't. But
Well,
you
look,
know,
can we just talk about the tariff power? I mean, tariff power lies solely in the Congress. If you look at the Constitution, there has to be a national emergency, and Trump has declared these bullshit national emergencies so that he can do tariffs. Well, he doesn't care. No, he doesn't. It's part of his Project 2025
well, Zinke
thing.
doesn't care either.
doesn't
Well, nobody
care.
in
You're right.
the
None of them
Republicans in
care.
Congress don't care either because they have the power to levy taxes, not the president.
Well, I bet he
Unless
does now.
in times of
I have a
emergency.
feeling he does.
But these
I have a feeling he has the power
national
to do whatever
emergencies
he wants.
are made up bullshit.
well, but he gets to do it. I
Well,
mean,
right,
nobody's
because
fighting
there's
him.
no.
Nobody's stopping him.
Where is
The Supreme
Congress?
Court's not going to stop
Where
him.
is Congress?
They're not
Where
gonna
are
stop
the
him.
elected officials?
Nobody's going to stop him. I mean, they're
I
not.
get it,
They can't.
but let's
Democrats
talk
go,
about it.
We're really mad at you, and you're breaking the law. Nah, and that's it. That's all they got.
Well, nobody's talking about the nobody's talking about the Constitution. That really bothers me.
No. Well,
'Cause it's
most of
clearly
the people
written
that
in the
like
Constitution.
are working for ICE now. They're all the oath keepers that have those mock constitutions. They're busy.
I
as
carry
fuck
one
right
around
now.
with me
They're
because
around.
it's
Oh, you're
important.
one of them.
I pulled up the Qatar's constitution.
Oh,
'cause
they have one?
Well, yeah, they do because they got that gig in Idaho, and we'll talk about that. So I pulled up their constitution. Their constitution says the monarch shall be in power forever. After me, it's going to be my son. It's going to be my great grandson and their great grandson.
He shall
that's
rule
what it
for
is.
1,000
The
years.
emir is in charge forever. That's what the constitution says.
Whoa.
So Ed, I
kinda like that.
I have 2 things for you. First one is a quote. Second
Okay,
one is a
quote
second,
time. I
second
love
one
it.
is a rant. Okay?
Love it. All right.
The first one is the quote. Okay, let's see if you can guess who said this.
All right.
Prices have not come down at all. The job market is extremely difficult. Wages have not gone up. Health insurance is going up. Home insurance goes up. Rent is going up. Young people have no hope of buying a home. End quote.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Correct.
Oh,
Yes.
that's what I was going to say.
That is
yeah.
noted leftist and liberal
He's
scholar Marjorie Taylor
Snowflake ass bitch.
Yeah.
Well, that is weird. And Zinke actually said the other day, the economy is not doing well and it's not getting better. Zinke said that on the news. So you're seeing some Republicans.
The cracks are forming.
Are they? Well, are they forming because we're getting closer to the Epstein files? I don't know that. You know what I mean? I don't. And it's just.
Well, maybe they're in the files.
Yeah, maybe they're in the files. I mean, who knows? I mean, they probably are.
So, and then the next one I have is a
what's
little
the
bit
rant?
is a little bit of a rant, and Joe Peck kind of touched on it. So my question is: so you've got chuck roast used to be $4.99 a pound, now it's $9.99 a pound. Ground beef was $4.99 a pound, now it's $7.99 a pound. 43 ounces of Folgers coffee used to be $12.99. Now it's $19.99. Chicken breast used to be $2.99 a pound. Now it's $4.99 a pound. So my question
fucking Biden.
My question to MAGA and the rest of these people is, who the fuck are we blaming for this?
Joe Biden.
Are we blaming
Joe
Obama?
Biden.
Are we blaming Biden? Are we blaming DEI hiring
Clinton?
practices?
Ooh.
Are we blaming the woke military? Are we blaming LGBTQ people? Are we blaming the Haitians that ate our pets? Are we blaming the public schools that
those
won't
I
put
like.
10 commandments in their classrooms? Just who the fuck are we blaming for this?
I like that. I think the anti-religious crowd is who we blame.
Right?
That's
Who is it? It's got to be one of those people.
Because it's not President Trump, of course.
Of course not.
It's
Can't
not
be.
Congress.
No, can't be.
Because they care about us and our money.
Can't be. Can't be the Supreme Court.
You know, I can't hammer about it enough about how people like this Daniel guy I talked to and other people I've talked to, my girlfriend's father, you know, when they say, well, I just can't believe what's going on. I can't. I'm like, what the fuck?
You voted
I
for
go,
this.
This motherfucker is the biggest liar this world has ever seen. And
listen.
you think it's a joke and funny. I get it, you know, like, but is it funny? And is it a joke? Because now, you know, we're none of us are in a position we were a year ago.
Well,
They just didn't listen. They couldn't connect the dots. The lack of critical thinking was outrageous because he said, I'm going to do tariffs.
Yeah, gonna do
and
it.
everybody said, tariffs are going to raise prices. They are not going to help prices. And what did he do? He's doing tariffs. He's got this little tariff wiggle finger that he wiggles, and he's like, "Oh, we'll do another 100% on China." Yeah, that's
but
it.
Ryan, you're right. They're gonna blame. It'll be DEI. It'll be gay people. It'll be brown people. It's gonna be fucking religion. There's always a cop out, always an excuse. And you know what? All these people. And
They're good at blaming. They're good at putting the blame and hanging the scarlet letter on the Democrats, whoever the Democrat is.
Where you gotta, fess up to your mistakes, and you gotta, stand up for yourself. You gotta fucking deal with the truth, and you've got to be a good person. You've got to accept your faults and this and that. You don't see any of that shit. None of that is. I mean, they all want to blame these younger generations as that. Well, fucking you act like it yourself because you just don't see it. I mean, they're letting this country fucking fall apart.
Oh yeah, and you saw Fancy Pants up there earlier talking about the shutdown. He never once mentioned what's going to happen to health insurance across the nation for the farmers, for the carpenters, for the construction workers.
Yep.
Never mentioned at all the health insurance is about to go up 75% in Montana. Never once.
He can afford it, Honestly, that is my opinion.
He doesn't even understand what health insurance is to a normal person.
No. When you're from that kind of money, you live a different life. I mean, you just do. And in fact, I got in a conversation with a friend the other day. He's like, "Oh, you would love Indonesia." Or you've got to go to China. I go, listen, okay, I appreciate you saying this, but you got to understand, I didn't grow up with a fucking pot to piss in. I didn't have parents that took me to Europe and shit. I never went to fucking Disneyland, okay?
Well, so you couldn't afford it now. It's like $10 grand.
Right now, I can't anyway.
Right. You don't need to go to Indonesia.
But I don't need to go to any of those. Yeah, no. I hear that
everybody.
It's great. It's great there in the wintertime. It's only like 95 in the winter.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, fuck that. No way. But it's just like, there's different kinds of people out there, and they can be from either party. That doesn't matter. But when you are from that upper class, you are so fucking out of touch with what 75, 80% of this country deals with every day. And that's where I'm fucking pissed at Montana. And I make fun of the MAGA Montana, these fucking idiots, because they love their Danes, their Sheehy, and their Gianforte, and these motherfuckers got money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they got money. They got lots of money.
And they're all from out of state.
Montana elected officials, they're gazillionaires. And I talked to a real rich friend of mine a while ago. We were having this conversation. I told him what it's like to be a farmer and what it's like to work in my hands all day long. And so I asked him, and so like, well, what's it like being rich? And he got all real uncomfortable. And I said, no, I told you what it's like being a farmer, farmer. And what's it like being rich? And he thought about it for a while, and he gave me the most honest answer I've ever heard anybody say. He said, it's like everything's free.
It's easy.
And I get free. If everything is free, what do you worry about? And you look at who's in Congress right now. Every one of those guys is a millionaire. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them.
Not Ilhan Omar. She's only worth $115,000.
Maybe, but not.
That's what they say.
I always when I hear people say that, I always think of the classic movie. I'm sure Steve's seen it, Chinatown. The Nicholson movie. Close. Where he's talking to John Huston, the villain, and he said, you're so rich, you've got more money than you can ever imagine. How much better can you eat? How much better can you drink? How much better can you live? Like, what is this all for? And he says, the future, Mr. Getz, the future. And that is terrifying. That's what these people want.
No more kings.
You're right.
No more aristocracy.
Legacy, future, monarch.
I mean,
If you
at
have
least,
that kind of money, you can fucking do anything. I guess.
At least back in the day, like in the early United States, the original oligarchs kind of knew that. Like Carnegie gave away almost all of his money, almost all of it. Same with Vanderbilt. These guys were the big winners in that early times. Rockefeller didn't really give away a bunch of his money, but he gave a lot of it away. We're not seeing that same thing.
Well, and then he made more money when they broke up his oil companies and put them into blind
Bill
trusts.
Gates and his ex-wife, she sure gives a lot of fucking money away.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos has an ex-wife that does that too, right? Or was it
Bezos?
It's Bezos' ex-wife.
Yeah, she's like fucking gives a lot
she's
of
single
money.
again. If you're watching,
Steve needs somebody. Good old Southern boy right there. You got that Southern charm.
Well, we can do Mom Dami next week. We can move on here. I have one quick bit about the Portland thing. The pictures coming out of Portland are hysterical.
They're awesome.
They're so funny. With like a shark and a big inflatable penguin.
Yeah.
And then to see these pictures and then hear it described as a violent war zone is just high comedy.
Well, it's really strategically
people
smart
believe it.
on behalf of the folks in Portland, because the last cycle you had all the anarchists dressed in black and they actually looked scary. Now you got Pepe the Frog and the dinosaur and the guy in the pickle outfit running away from people.
Dude,
holy moly, that's funny stuff.
I know.
And that's what we need, is a little bit of humor in this.
You know, from day one, there was a guy the first guy was with a banana suit with American flag. And he was the first guy, you know. And then when Chrissy Nome came and they're like, she's with these SWAT dudes on a roof, they're pointing. I'm like, there's like 12 people down there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Why are you even putting this on news? Like, they do not give a fuck so much that they themselves obviously know that there's no problem here.
Right.
But because Chrissy Nome is there, plastic woman, and two fucking big guards, and they're pointing at stuff.
Tim Burton Barbie.
They're looking.
Tim Burton
Barbie. They're looking at stuff like they're doing official, and they're figuring it out. It's like, okay, we see there's no problem here, but you're spending our taxpayer dollars on this in a big way. I mean, fuck, they're doing it. They don't give a fuck.
I don't remember if it was on the show or off the show. We were all talking about Ken Burns, the documentaries. And the Civil
Fucking
War.
heads.
Sorry, that's just the name of the Civil War one. Is
I don't
great.
say the war of no aggression, just so you know. My family were carpetbaggers. I was not born in the South. But just to set the record straight.
That's a great documentary because they read all the old Civil War letters, and I just thought about like the Civil War letter from the Portland War.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, dear mother, exhausted from a night of vegan froyo on the front lines. The lattes have run dry. It is kombucha and mint tea until the supplies show up. We rendezvous at the hookah club. We conga at dawn. Pray for us, mother.
They took our
2
hops
more
away,
days
so we can't have
until
IPAs.
it's at least 2 more days until the next farmer's market.
Yes, yeah.
Kevin,
I asked for gluten-free IPA, and if it's loaded with gluten, my stomach shall. Yeah.
Could we close on looking at the guy that we're giving $40 billion to in Argentina?
How did it get to $40 billion?
Because
I don't know. That's what I heard.
I guess 20
the
wasn't
news reported
enough.
still 20.
Bassett said they're going to need 40.
Javier Milei.
Oh, Bassett said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they only
zoom
get
in on
the
a couple
money
of these
if he
pictures.
wins.
Not that one. Let's
There's
get
a
the real picture of
stipulation
these
that
guys.
they don't get the money if he doesn't win. It's like, we're going to bail you out if you elect the guy we like. And if you don't elect the guy we like,
this guy's like a crazy dictator guy.
This guy looks like Davy Jones from the Monkees after a long night of cocaine and getting butt fucked by his band members. I mean, that's what the guy looks like.
I don't think
we're
the
going to give
Monkees
him
were doing
40.
that.
No, I don't think the Monkees were doing no.
He looks like
no, those guys are totally on the level.
He is like an I think he was
They
an
weren't
economics
queers.
professor. He's just like a very ideological, like staunch libertarian. He was.
Maybe I'm too hung up on looks.
Well,
but
no,
I'm not
he
giving
looks
that
like
guy
a,
$40
he looks
billion.
like a
Maybe
fool.
that's why you're single,
He looks
Steve.
like a fool and should not get his money.
Wait,
but I think he was like a
libertarians
professor
are
or
looking for a
something in
handout?
Argentina. Right? Yeah, first time that's ever happened.
Dude,
Jesus Christ! Yeah.
Wash out your mouth.
Right. Like I've always said, you got to love libertarians. They have the "don't tell me what to do" attitude of a child and a economic understanding of a teenager. So. Yeah.
That's so funny.
God.
I think I said that to Schwicker once.
Those
Something
fucking
very
people.
similar. He's like, nah.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Like your boy Sid, huh?
What I don't understand. Well, okay, all right. real quick, on our list is this, and it's the dumbest fucking thing, linking autism to circumcision. And we got to get beyond it. But apparently, RFK's wife was on The View.
I did.
And the one chick called her out, like being like, dude, and I'm like, yeah, dude, why even have her on?
Right.
Nobody should take these people seriously or put them anywhere, okay?
Because
Like, let's not, I mean.
They're so ego-driven that she knew she was going to get yelled at. But just the fact to be in the
Another
public
distraction
light
from
and
the
to be on
files.
television. Oh, God, if there's anyone that's in the... it's got to be RFK.
It's gotta be.
This guy is
He's
like...
gotta be.
It's one of the most fascinating things about RFK is he's always like, oh, yeah, Harvey Weinstein and I are good buddies. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Bill Cosby went to his house numerous times. It's like,
Good to eat the pudding.
Jesus Christ.
He doesn't give a fuck,
Yeah.
Well, none of them do.
Yeah.
No.
Hegseth don't give a fuck.
But they're blaming mom. In both circumstances, they're blaming mom. Mom took Tylenol. Mom cut off your whacker.
But it's true. I went to get my flu shot the other day at CVS, and they tried to snip me, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm just here for the flu shot."
Whoa.
Well, I will say that I am still traumatized from my circumcision.
Where's this fucking
On day 2, it really caused a break in my brain chemistry.
Ryan, where did you find the story about Ohio House Bill 427? Because this blows my fucking mind.
Yeah, it's in.
I've heard this before years ago.
Yeah.
But so somebody's trying to do this.
It's
now.
coming. It was on like a local Fox affiliate in Columbus, Ohio.
It's
So
not
they're
as,
gonna
it's
tell
not
you-
as scary. No, it's not as scary as you have to sign up for it. You have to sign up
He's a
for
believer.
it.
Yeah.
You have to
How
sign
much
up
longer till
for
it's
it.
not voluntary?
They won't. So they're not going to let you go to like 95 degrees in the winter and like 60 in the summer.
This is like Jimmy Carter in his cardigan saying,
Okay,
turn
right.
down the thermostat.
We're gonna have to
put on a sweater.
That was too much, though. That was too much.
We did that as a family. We burned
was too
wood,
much.
man. Like it was. I remember that.
We're gonna
yeah.
have to bake in our homes in the summer because the AI data center needs more electricity. You know what doesn't need electricity? A guillotine.
So you're saying
just
that
gonna
you
throw
know
that
for
out
sure
there.
it's a voluntary program?
It is now.
The article says
For now.
Yes. And even if you opt in, you can still opt out. You still have control. For now. If, I mean, if you guys are scared about those things,
I wouldn't
I get
trust
it.
those smart thermostats.
I understand it.
No.
I understand it.
Yep. The thing that I
moving
saw,
along.
which is kind of interesting, it's a little spin off this, is they're hooking up, I think it was California, they're hooking up electric cars onto the grid. And
Yeah, selling power.
Yeah,
back.
and selling power back to the grid on peak seasons. When they need a little power, they take it out of your F-150.
So how is this a bad thing? Because I've got a friend in California too that gets to sell back solar power, and I know somebody in Utah that does this too. So, because they got to be hooked up to the grid.
Yeah.
This blows my fucking mind.
Cheapest
I'm
power
not,
out there.
I'm not an engineer or anything like that, so I'm like very
You're not?
confused. Yeah, I know. Believe it or not, I wanted to be. But
You did graduate from high school, though, didn't you?
well,
He was a
kinda.
locomotion engineer.
I kind of quit carrying it about 12 years old. Pot and stuff. Women got in my way. But no, man, I made me forget what I was talking about. Oh, you're selling it back to so your house uses 1,800 kilowatts a month. Well, I don't know what the fuck that means, but say it. And you're generating 2,400 a month. You're selling that 600 back.
Yeah.
But you're not even paying for that first 1,800 because you're getting it for free from your solar. So you're making money every month.
Could be.
So we're getting fucking rid of that.
It's called net metering.
What the fuck?
That's some great innovation that I can totally get behind.
Well, yeah.
Allowing OpenAI to
the idea
control
that
my
your meter
thermostat?
runs backwards.
Well,
Not so
that I
much.
don't know. But Trump just canceled the biggest solar project in the country.
Right.
This just happened under the radar.
Well, the power is too cheap. Solar power
It's
is
way
too
too-
cheap for
exactly,
the
that's
American
It's not.
anti-capitalism,
consumer.
It's
probably.
not too cheap. It's too woke.
Is that
It's too
it's
fucking
woke.
woke.
It's definitely woke.
I mean, China's doing it now.
But it's
so
obviously the
definitely
future.
The
woke.
coal people cannot make money when
Wow.
solar is too cheap.
But
That's the
I
problem.
don't
right.
like I said, I don't know how it works.
But a new energy economy, we shouldn't even try to invest in that.
if I had solar
Let's invest in the old energy
and I'm selling it to the grid, I'm making like $800 a year or something. What is wrong with that?
You're too libertarian.
Yeah.
Too independent.
Like you were saying, Ed, I'm no scientist, I'm no doctor, but electricity prices seem to be going through the roof. But maybe getting rid
They
of all
will
this
be.
solar power is probably not going to bring those prices down
This is
again.
this is
They don't
fucking
care, yeah,
insane.
they-
This is what I'm saying. We're talking
Their
about
agenda
we need
matters
more, we need
more
more
than what
homes.
it-
We need
Starting
more
to think this
competition.
Donald Trump character isn't as quite
He
of
might
a
not be on the level.
technological genius as I was told he was.
He said it himself.
Better give him another 4 years.
He
to
knew
sort
more
this
than
out.
all the engineers. He knew more than the
Staple genius,
generals.
not technological genius.
He knows more than everybody about everything. So
Right.
I'm very surprised. I'm surprised as well at
Very
this.
normal thing to say.
Very weird. Yeah, everything he says is very normal. But this is so like against everything we need right now because everything is so fucking expensive and only getting worse. You know, and like, I mean, I don't know where you go from here because it's going to keep getting worse. You know, how is producing more coal helping us by taking away more solar? You know, any of this stuff. I mean, I think even the average hillbilly's got to understand it.
There's
right?
there's a
you think the average
fetish with
hillbilly understands that or no?
There's a fetish with fossil fuels. I think we just need to start calling it what it is.
Well, there's
the
the
fossil fuel
oligarch
fetish
class, yes,
in this country.
But the rest of us, do we really
And
give a
it's
fuck that much? Like, I don't get how a president runs on this coal, baby, coal. Like, how many fucking people mine coal?
No, what do
Jesus
people
Christ.
want? People want the lights to come on when they flip the switch.
And they think that coal is
That's-
just the cheapest way to go about it, even though wind and solar is definitely
think
cheaper.
They don't have
I
any
think-
idea where their energy comes from.
I think both of you are kind of on the right track.
No way.
The way I see it is,
God, the middleman.
you know, you've got these fossil fuel executives that go to people like Trump and his cronies
Yeah,
and
they
say,
wanna
look,
make-
I have a
give you
duty to
money."
my shareholders every quarter to increase market share. A very, an easy way that I could do that is if you got rid of this pesky solar energy, all this renewable green shit. If we just got rid of all that,
Yeah.
my market
Well,
share is going to grow.
And even though we had all this money
Mm-hmm.
when fossil fuels were in vogue that we could have invested and just
Mm-hmm.
pivoted like the railroads did.
Yep.
But a lot of your
we didn't, and now we need to be saved.
A lot
It's
of
just
your
another
companies
fucking
have
bailout.
pivoted.
Is what
This is
you're
what I
saying.
don't understand is a lot of these companies have pivoted though. Most of your natural resource people in Wyoming have wind farms and solar farms now. I mean, Wyoming's the energy capital of the West, if not the country.
Well, the
It's
corporations
nuts.
themselves have pivoted, but the workers are the ones that get left out without the job,
Yeah.
without the ability to pay for their.
And this is always what happens.
Yeah.
It's socialism for the rich and brutal capitalism for the rest of us.
Yeah, it is. It is because they're also getting subsidies.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So brutal.
Well, they're ending all the non-fossil fuel subsidies, but they're not doing any of that on the fossil fuel
No,
side.
no,
of
no.
things.
And we still don't know how much money the farmers are getting in this country.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, look, my friend used to say that, look, the best economic decision you can make to get ahead in life is choose richer parents.
That's true. That's very true.
oh my God. Yeah, I fucked up. Anyway.
Speaking of the rich, this fucking meatball, Jack Citrielli,
Yeah,
or whatever
who
his
is he?
name is. He's running for governor in New Jersey, and he had a debate last
part,
week
yeah, this
where they
one
were
is
they were asking him
infuriating.
about his tax policy, and he said, "Look, we're going to redo the whole budget. Tax raises are on the table for everyone except for millionaires."
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
Wait a second. This is kind of 2 weeks old, this
yes,
news, right?
and this should be on every Democratic ad
Yes!
nationally.
What
it should
is
be
going-
it should be that clip, and it should say,
You're right.
the Republicans think it's okay. We can't beat up on the millionaires. We can only beat up on the working class and the middle class. Vote Russ Cleveland or something like that. It should be on every ad because I get to see the ads that are like, he agreed with Nancy Pelosi's radical liberal agenda. It should be every single Democratic ad. It should be that guy
Did we
saying,
talk about this
whoa,
before?
whoa.
Well, it would be
talked about it after the
if
show.
you would start a consulting
You gotta be a
firm,
consultant, you're right.
and if you would sell this to the Democrats and
Yes.
charge them $1.5 million for this idea,
Yes.
they would probably hire you.
Come in with
and
an
then we
ad.
could get
you
this
couldn't just leave
message
it on a
out.
voicemail.
You got to
with them and give it to them
storyboard
for
it
free.
first. Yeah.
And Mike's on record that young people should not be in politics.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you got to be the right age, too. So, there's a lot of hoops you got to
least
jump
18.
through.
Mike don't like kids.
It's 18.
This third one, the Apple thing that I saw, Apple's paying this huge settlement and a Siri eavesdropping settlement. And I read this headline and I was like, well, no shit. How the hell can she hear you go, hey Siri, if she's not fucking listening to you?
Right.
Right?
That's
It was
what-
like,
well, so this
somebody, it was like, of course.
the whole fucking this whole headline.
Well,
People
there's
seems like
there's two giant fears.
What
People
is
are
wrong
surprised
with
that the phone's listening to you.
how's that a lawsuit? Like, what?
It's crazy.
What is that?
Well, it's the issue of whether or not they take what's not Hey Siri, and they sell it to people. But there's two big fears
But
here.
what the fuck?
One of them is the fact that
listening all the time.
everybody's
It's
worried
listening
that
all the
everybody's worried that
That's fucked up.
everybody's worried that they're listening
It's
all
not
the time.
listening to us.
They are.
And they're collecting
Never.
they're collecting all that information.
nobody
Well, we don't
wants
have to.
that.
They're watching us. They're not listening. Right.
Yeah, because
No,
when I
we're
talk
doing- we're
about
not-
buying
this
a
is
new
not
pair of
in,
boots,
in silence.
and then
Oh,
I
you
get
get
500
ads. Yeah, I
and
know.
everything.
So there's two big fears here, though, that we're not talking about. The one, of course, is that our phones are always listening, and they're taking this data, and somebody's combing through it and pulling out stuff to either sell to people or
I
to
think
get
that's
us in
the
trouble.
ICE agents when you try to get back
And
in
then-
the country.
And
You're
then
getting
there's
some, like,
and
ED
then
medication ads.
but
and
then
stuff.
there's the whole thing, because I read the article, and if you sign up, you could get $20 per device, per Apple device, as the settlement. So the other big fear is this
Wait,
other
then when you
Republican
settle-
big fear that who's actually benefiting from this? A $95 million lawsuit? Who's going to win the money? The trial lawyers are winning the money. This
Oh,
is
yeah,
another
of course.
Republican rant that they've had for a long time about trial lawyers and how easy it is to file a lawsuit and all of those things.
And we don't have to get into it tonight, but yeah, class action lawsuit they pretty much exist just as a boon for attorneys.
Yeah.
But 95 million, I mean, that sounds like pocket change
Because
for
the
a
people-
corporation
For Apple?
that's got,
Yeah, right.
like,
It is.
how many trillion
That's
dollars in
nothing.
cash?
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
it's a rounding error.
It's a business expense. It's a
Yeah.
cost of doing
That's
business.
right. So it's easy to do that, and the only reason it gets filed is because some trial lawyer can make the number right so that he knows he'll get 10 million at least.
I was part of that Equifax data breach settlement class action lawsuit, and I think I got $4 or something.
Nice. Where'd you buy it?
It's like, yeah.
I was in a Wells Fargo one. I think I got
Right.
$1.50.
It's like
Yeah,
I would gather the lawyer made a little bit more than I did on that.
All right. What else?
You know
The
what?
Pope. Should we talk about the Pope?
Yeah, we can talk
Oh
about
yeah,
the
we're gonna
Pope.
talk about the Pope for sure.
So MAGA is up in arms over the Pope. They're pissed because he's not America first and he's too inclusive. And my thought was look, if you hate the Pope because he's too liberal, you're really going to hate his boss.
Yeah, big time.
I think his boss used to hang out with the poor people and the prostitutes and all the
Yeah.
desolate people.
Yeah.
And MAGA is more Israel first than fucking America first anyway. I mean, come on. What the fuck?
Well, and then the other thought I had on this.
The American Pope seems pretty cool, like a cool guy.
Right, and he knows baseball.
Right, he's a
it'd be kind
Sox
of crazy
fan.
to meet the Pope and be like,
and come on, Leo, come on.
yeah, and be like, how's that Cubs bullpen this year? He'd be like, we were okay, we just couldn't get it done.
The Catholic Church is not exactly a bastion of liberal ideas
No.
over the course of human history.
No.
American Catholicism is much more liberal than international Catholicism.
But-
and to be placed at the head of this organization and for MAGA to hate him because he thinks that he actually believes in the stories in the Bible
Right.
where immigrants and people that have less are welcomed into the community rather than rounded up by military and shipped out of the
Yeah.
community. If they can't see that,
Yeah.
then they're not Christians for one.
No.
Well, and that was the
they don't care anyway because they're white nationalists who've always hated Catholics anyway.
So that was the
Yes.
that was the thought I had, and I always have these thoughts when I read these kind of articles because I grew up Catholic, I was confirmed Catholic, and
fist bump on that.
it must be hard,
Got
it
the
must be
guilt.
Me
difficult
too.
to be,
I was
a
communionized.
devout Catholic and hate the Pope and disagree with what the Pope says because Catholic doctrine is pretty clear. That the Pope is the vessel of God. He's the vicar of Christ.
Whatever it's
I
called.
think it's the
don't
vessel of
remember.
Christ. So it's like, he is the vessel who St. Peter speaks to the people. So it's just very interesting to me how they can hold those two beliefs at the same time. Like, I'm a devout Catholic, but at the same time, I hate the Pope. I think he's a piece of shit. He's an idiot. I just don't see how you can reconcile those things. But
The Latter-day Saints elected a new living prophet.
yeah,
Their guy's 91 years old now.
I mean, look at MAGA. MAGA loves fancy pants wearing rich people. I mean, I don't fucking get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. They fucking love them.
And I suppose the easy answer is these people just care more about their political positions than they do
It's
about
ideology.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, it comes down to ideology.
Maybe I'm
That's
just being
the way it
naive,
is.
but that,
Well, okay, and that's another thing.
because I really thought about this a lot. I was like, man, so if he's the voice of St. Peter, and he's the vicar of Christ, it just seems to me that the devout Catholic would be like, well, maybe I'm looking at this issue wrong. If the Pope says it should be one way, maybe I need to rethink things. But they
Yeah.
also do build gold statues of Trump, which is a kind of a big no-no in those amendments, those commandments they always talk about.
I don't
It
think
should
that,
be.
honestly, I don't think American
about
Catholics.
idolizing.
I would wonder what the split is on American Catholics in the last election. How many actually voted for Trump, or how many just?
I think
didn't
most are
vote?
conservative. I think most
Probably.
overwhelmingly conservative.
I talk to friends who I talk to about Catholicism and religion, and
Just not the Catholic household.
when we were
I grew up
talking
in.
about
but-
the conclave, and I think it's fascinating.
I think that's why
how
we
they
left the
picked new
church,
pope.
because everybody was conservative and my parents weren't.
Yeah. And he said, I was like, well, what do you think about these new popes? Like, who are you pulling for? Are you pulling for this guy in Sheehy? Are you pulling for this guy? He said, I just wanted to.
Did you put any money on it?
I didn't.
Yeah. But my dad saw through that shit back
He
then.
said, I just want a pope that's Catholic. And that was very interesting to
I mean,
me.
my dad saw the politics
he
shift
think-
into the church in the 80s for sure.
think
In the
Leo's
70s, he was very keen to that, being like, okay, what's going on here? They're telling me who to vote for, and this isn't the union, it's the fucking church, you know?
Yeah. But Talerico, that preacher man candidate out of Texas, I
Yeah.
mean, he's bringing, family values and that kind of stuff into his stump speeches and doing it very effectively.
Doesn't he seem like a guy you could trust?
Yep.
Because that's the one thing right now is we can never trust government. Mostly nobody trusts government. I mean, it's always been that way. And now with this administration, if you trust the numbers coming out right now, you might as well go commit any crime you want, because you can plead insanity and get the fucking away with anything. Because you can't believe any of these numbers. Nothing coming out, but people do.
Yeah.
They believe, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know how you explain, to somebody anymore that, is losing everything they have around them because the numbers aren't great, but, in their opinion, it is. It's great. And I just don't see anywhere where it's great at all. Your rant about, blaming things.
Right. Who are we going to blame?
Well, you just can't blame any MAGA because they're never fucking wrong.
Yeah,
It's
who are
like,
we gonna blame?
are these people going to start turning on them? I mean, I don't know. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene seems to be a little bit.
Well, it's like Joe Peck talked about it briefly, where it's like people bitch about Ilhan Omar. They say the Muslims are trying to take over. They want Sharia law in Texas.
Right.
And then we say, well, we're building a Qatari Muslim Air Force base in Idaho. And MAGA goes,
didn't even
yay!
touch that.
They go,
Yeah, no, we didn't
yay,
quite
this is
touch
great.
that.
I don't know what to think until Trump tells me what to think.
Well, there was a lot of pushback, and then they were like, well, it's not really
I didn't
the
think about this.
Qatari Air Base.
Omar probably doesn't get dark money because nobody wants to give it to her. I guess I didn't think about
Well,
it
the
that way.
Qatari thing is funny to me. Is remember how mad Americans were at
Yes.
the Al Jazeera news?
Oh,
I mean,
my
that's
God.
Qatar.
We got him canceled.
That's from the Emir of Qatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're just like, it doesn't matter.
No, none of it matters.
I mean, that's what Donald
Trump
Trump
himself said they support terrorism his last term.
That's what Donald Trump
It's like
Jr.
Qatar
has
was a
been
supporter of
doing.
terrorism.
Trump Jr. has been doing in the Middle East. He's been over there since Trump took office, basically just cutting all these business deals with all these Middle Eastern countries.
Oh man.
And none of that. Nobody's shining the light on that. I would love to see his laptop. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah, that'd be
because
interesting.
the amount of
A lot of
information
gay
on there,
porn, I bet, with
and
midgets
how much
and stuff. It's fucking weird.
How
I bet.
much backroom
Elvis
dealing
Eagles
they
lost
are
his train of
doing
thought.
Yeah.
to make money.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, weird shit, dude. And we will never know. Yeah. We'll never know any of these deals that anybody, in these administrations ever.
No.
I mean, they all do it. It's all there for money. Again, it's capitalism.
Be classified.
You can't not have it. Our system is set up for this to happen. Yep. And capitalism. Be number one. Step on whatever you need to get there.
Well, let's get back to the Constitution, please. Let's go back and read it. That's what
Mine's
I
been
do
good. I've
every
been
day.
taking Metamucil every night.
You're doing good.
Well,
You're
we
looking good, too.
got to get Joe Peck to bed here soon. So, closing thoughts. We'll start with you, Mike.
I enjoyed having Russ Cleveland on.
Russ.
And he had his hoodie on today, and I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that he's a guy that there's a lot of promise there. I think people should be looking at him
Normal
seriously.
guy. I do too.
Normal guy.
Yeah.
Big family. Worried about expenses.
Yep.
I know. He seems like a very, religious conservative. The size of his family, where he lives, everything about him, I bet they fucking hate him over there.
Mineral County.
Ooh, goddamn.
Steve, what do you got?
I like I just said, I just wish we could go back and look at what the Constitution says and look at what the founders of this country were worried about and focus on some of those things and be like, okay, who's going to get the balls to stand up and say, this actually says you can't do this. You have to let Congress do it. Congress needs to stand up because those are the people that represent us more closely than the president does. And we have to get back to that at some point in this whole process. I'm hopeful that that's going to happen, and that's about all I got.
Like in our lifetimes.
I'm hopeful. Like maybe next November we'll see a shift, but I'm gonna work my ass off. I'll say that.
Let's see. Closing thoughts here. I'm gonna stick in the Big Ten. I had my win last week. Ohio State, Illinois.
I'm gonna spend some money this week.
This week, the Beer Buds and Big Sky podcast lock of the week. We got the Purdue Boilermakers traveling north to Evanston to play the Purple Cats of Northwestern.
Oh, Northwestern.
Right now, Northwestern's.
Do they still have a football team?
Right now, Northwestern's favored by 3.5 points. I think this is a classic letdown game for Northwestern. They had a huge emotional win last week against Penn State.
They did.
Purdue's much better than people. Purdue's much better than
Franklin
people
got
think.
fired.
They're much better than people think. I think Purdue at Northwestern plus 3.5. Lock of the week.
I like it.
What's the over-under?
You think Oklahoma minus 4.5 isn't the lock of the week
points are they
versus the
gonna score?
Gamecocks?
40?
I don't know how many points they're going to score.
I
I
think
just
it's gonna
think
be a lot of
Purdue.
points.
I think Purdue keeps it very close or wins outright.
All right.
I got something real quick for Mike Johnson. Fuck you. Fuck you for calling it the Hate America rally. Fuck you. Fuck you and your shit. All you fucking idiots. Fuck you for saying that. That's all I got to say. That's fucking stupid. Hate America rally. Yeah, we all fucking hate America, bitch. We really do. You're making it such a pleasant place. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.